You hear me? Can? No.
Hear me now?
Hello, my name is Ray Duffield and I'm a Year 9 student at XP School.
Hello, I'm Ben Whittaker. I'm also a XP student and also in Year 9.
So before we start the tour, we'd just like to please ask you to mute your mics. You can do this by touching the blue mic icon in the corner of the chat. That just enables the tour to run a bit smoother for me and Ben.
If you would like to see more of the screen, we would ask you to press the dash icon in the chat to minimize the chat.
And if you do have any questions, please type them into the chat, and if we have time at the end, we will answer them. So now we're just going to go through to the office to look at our character traits and howls. At XP, we try and work by our habits of work and learning. We use the acronym HOWLS. These are work hard, get smart, and be kind. There's a set criteria for each of these, and we try and fulfill it in all of our learning areas to enable us to get the best learning opportunities possible.
In XP, we also have something called character traits. There are 5 character traits: courage, respect, craftsmanship and quality, compassion, and integrity. We use these in our everyday lives inside and out of school. This will help us in our career in our later life.
At XP, we learn differently to other schools. We learn through expeditions, and at the start of an expedition, we will have an immersion. This can vary from field work to an expert coming in, and this gives us a slight insight and helps us learn a little bit about what we're going to be spending the next expedition studying.
At an end of an expedition, we do something called a final product. For a final product, we either write letters, write speeches, or we can even build bridges.
Now we're just going to go to the Humanities room and we're going to talk about an expedition that we did in Year 8.
In this expedition, we looked at speeches, famous deaths, civil rights, and segregation. As you can see on the right wall, there is an image of Martin Luther King reading out one of his speeches. This helped. We looked at Martin Luther King and analysed his life closely. We used the knowledge we gained from Martin Luther King's life to write our own speeches. And on the back wall, as you can see, there is a student from XP presenting his speech in a presentation of learning. Presentation of learning is used to show off our work to the parents and our other teachers. On the right image on the back wall is a written piece of a student's work.
At the start of this expedition, for our immersion, we went to the Houses of Parliament. We started to engage in different areas of politics and learn how people debated. One of the reasons we studied many great speakers was not only to analyse what they wrote and how they wrote, but also to analyse how they presented to enable us to get the most powerful speeches possible. We're now going to go through to the stairs where we are going to talk about a variety of things. As you can see on the back wall, there is a picture of some students. This is a crew. At the start of each crew in year 7, students go to Wales and they do a variety of activities to bond and get to know one another better. Crew is the equivalent to your tutor group or your form. Within these, it's a really close family and we help one another overcome our fears.
As you can see on the right, there is another image of someone in our school presenting their work, what they did in the expedition, in a presentation of learning. As you can see, at the bottom of the image, there is students, parents, and other teachers listening as this student explains their work.
On these steps, on a Friday afternoon, all of the students throughout the school will congregate here and listen to one another speak. Any teachers and students that have announcements can make them here in the community meeting. They can also make stands, which we use our character traits, and we will point out when we have seen things that haven't been up to the XP standard. We also like to apologise one another and appreciate within these meetings, which enables us to become better people as we learn when to accept when we are wrong and also when to accept when other people are right, and then we can praise them on that. So we're in the library, and as you can see on the back wall, there is all the students' folders. These are our portfolios, and every student in the school has one. We archive our work from year 7 all the way throughout, and this helps us when we're revising and doing our student-led conferences. These are the same as parents' evenings, and we show our parents our work and our grades throughout the expedition, and we're trusted to use our integrity and show how well we have done.
As you can see on the right, there is a piece of work in one of our students' portfolio. We write our work on lined paper to make it neat so we can write on the lines neatly and make our handwriting possible to read. As you can see, there is a sticker at the top right with a certain number on it. This allows us to find what piece of work it is without reading the whole thing. As you can see in the middle, there is a portfolio contents page for one of our expeditions.
Now we're going to go to one of our science labs, but within these we don't just study science, we study all areas of STEM, which is science, technology, engineering and maths.
As you can see, there is 3 images. The large image on the back wall shows some students working as a team using their robot, what they built themselves as a team, to gather as many blocks as they can in a certain area. This was also shown at a presentation of learning.
Throughout the expedition, we also covered a wide variety of maths. We studied Pythagoras' theorem, coordinates, angles, and trigonometry. It was necessary to study all of these areas, as for part of our presentation of learning, our robots had to do an automated challenge in which we would have had to program them to follow a set route, and then the robots that had the closest or the best route along the marked out area would win. So we spent the expedition studying the angles and the coordinates we would need to code our robots to. That's everything we've got for you today. Thank you for listening. If you do have any questions, now is the opportunity to ask them.
Thank you, Ray and Ben. I was wondering whether you could tell us a little bit about critique and how it's important in how you learn.
We use critique in many ways. We use it for assess piece of works, which will get us to reach our meg or exceed our meg. Our meg is a minimum expected grade, and we need to meet these every assessed piece of work. And we also use critique for unassessed pieces of work. We use them every day in school, just so we work as a family in a way. We work as a crew, to get everyone to the top of the mountain.
Yeah, it enables us to get the best possible work and also learn how to work with others to enable that everyone gets the best work out of the subject.
Thank you. Could you say a little bit about expeditions and which ones you're on at the moment? Perhaps you could just tell us a little bit about those. Thank you.
So the expeditions we're studying at the minute, the one in STEM is called Bridges to Nowhere. And within this, we are studying bridges. So we have looked at the most structurally sound bridges, factors of safety, and then we're going to make 3 bridges. We're going to make a 1 to 10 scale model, a 1 to 5 scale model, and then all of Skipper together will make a full scale model, which is designed to hold the weight of all of Skipper in year 9, which is one of our classes. So that's 25 students. So we're all working through that and creating our designs. And then as a class, we will then create a design that we want to use to make the final product.
Our expedition in Humanities is called Everybody Wants to Rule the World. The first part of the expedition we looked at Anglo-Saxons and how they invaded and ruled England in a way, how they lived life and what they did to make sure they survived as a group. And in the second part of the expedition, we looked at the Norman conquest. So we looked at famous people like William the Conqueror, and Harold Godwinson, which was one of the rightful heirs to the throne, and the Battle of Hastings and Battle of Stamford Bridge. Our final product in this expedition is a poster that will be presented in Coningsborough Castle, teaching Key Stage 2 children about Anglo-Saxons and the Norman conquest and how the eras before this one, how they lived and what they did differently to us.
Very much, both of you. Really enjoyed that. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Goodbye.
Bye.